Oh, Jesus. I started out, like, the pace plan kind of went out the window. Started out like 3:54 through 15. I knew I was up. The playlist was lacking at the end. Some stupid song came on. It's just such a long time to press for. You keep thinking like 15 minutes in, like this is nothing. I'm gonna be able to crank the last 5 minutes at 400. But it's just
34:25.
so 35 seconds faster. Top 3:59. It's 3% more power. Or 2.5. My heart rate was so much lower than the last time.
Really?
What did it get it? Well, I wasn't even staring at the screen. What did the heart rate get to? Just like 180 something?
184 at one point.
So I got a 190 last time. This heart rate monitor is confusing sometimes. Or it's just my heart rate. That was... The first 20 minutes was unbelievable. And then I kept thinking, like, I'm going to crank 400 watts the final 5 minutes. But it's just so hard at that point.
You're going into 388. I came up on more than a couple times.
The last couple turns were... The last turn may have been... I want to check the times on the last two turns. I think the last time I was actually faster through the last two. But, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Because, like I said, the strategy worked. It worked, right? Because the last time I was able to build it hugely in the last 5 minutes. But because the middle 15 was so crappy, right, I was already behind. So I had to drill it. Here, I already knew. Like, I was staring and seeing 354 average through 27 minutes or something, right? So I already knew I'm already ahead of pace. Because the last time, even with the final 5 minutes, as hard as they were, it was only 350, right? So I knew I haven't even, like, I'm already above the average, and that was including the last 5 minutes. I'm gonna bark right now, like, it's just my throat's burning, but I wish I had a better playlist too. La 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 from Passenger came on. The hell is this crap? Anyways, that was unbelievable. That was unbelievable. Like, I knew it too. Last weekend I knew it. That the threshold was going to be a lot higher. Right? Like, I knew I dragged it up because I did that race, like 355, 360 for the 2x15 climb, and it felt pretty easy. So I knew I was going to beat the PB. 34:25, that's unreal. It's like the Box Hill time. Kind of just like in shock. Just because, like, I could not believe that on Box Hill I pushed 426. I couldn't fathom that, right? That it didn't make sense almost, right? Like it was just like, how did I improve 4% in a matter of 3 weeks? But then after doing that, like, and then this, 34.25 is unreal. That was 6 watts per kilo, I think, on the dot. Maybe even a little more. There was a guy with me through like 7 minutes. It was kind of nice. He kept, like, that was the most perfect thing, right?
Yeah.
He kept me, I had a carrot for 7 minutes, and I wasn't even trying to get him. But then I just pulled up, and it was really motivating, like, because like for the first 2 turns, I think it was 3:58, something like that. And then this time I used my standing power much more effectively. I had a couple bad gear changes, not as many as the last time, but I used because, like, you know from Box Hill, that when I stand out of the saddle, good things happen. Like, I put a lot more power out of the saddle, because I'm much more comfortable at 60 RPM than at 80, right? 80 feels out of control to me almost, right? And here I did it, the way I paced that, I actually took it turn by turn, and what I just did was out of the saddle, and I said, get me to like 360 to 365 for the first half of the turn, out of the saddle, and then come back into the saddle and use it to recover, because you built up this thing to 360. So now let it come right down to 350 something, right, in the saddle. So my heart rate was actually coming down, and then I drilled it again to 360, and then come back down. So I actually like over-under this whole climb much more than the first one. Like the first time it was kind of like I was trying to hold dead power, and here I was actually using the out of the saddle power to my advantage. The last time I wasn't using it to my advantage. Right? I was just trying to hold the same power, but it doesn't make sense. I hold much higher power out of the saddle. Everyone does, right? So why am I content at 350 out of the saddle? Try to hold 360, 365 out of the saddle, and then bring it down, right? You've built a buffer, right? You've built a buffer for the first half of the turn, so you've allowed yourself now, you can come down, right? In the saddle, and actually bring the heart rate down, whatever the heart rate is. I don't know if it's fatigue or it's energy. I don't know. The last time I was like sitting at like 180 to 185 the entire time. Here I was about 170.